Hi, I'm Brian Salter and I'm a journalist and broadcaster. I started my career in the BBC World Service many years ago. I've been in Beijing for just over 6 years. Now, I've been to Hong Kong many times before that, but Beijing or China mainland, 2010. At the moment we're in Tawanting Park, which has to be my favourite park in Beijing. Many people, many foreigners don't know that Beijing is full of parks, but Tawanting to me is the best because it epitomises just so much of what there is here. There's everywhere you go, there are people dancing, there are people singing, there are people doing Tai Chi, there are people enjoying themselves in every way. In the winter, like now, there's people skiing, there's people skating on the ponds. It's just a wonderful, wonderful place, and it's a really happy place. Well, I was working in the BBC in the 1970s and 1980s, which is a long time ago. And in those days, we didn't really think much about China at all. So I think before I came to China, I didn't really have a very good idea what it was going to be like. We always think back to the 2008 Olympics, and that was a great shock to the world that Beijing actually was a modern city, because most people in Europe never thought that. So when I came, I really came with an open mind, and I was quite surprised about the mix between the old and the new, which was quite a surprise. One always sees pictures of the city and stuff like that, but that combined with the really modern side of Beijing as well was probably the biggest surprise. Because China is now becoming more and more important in the world. If you think about it, 30, 40 years ago, China had a tiny economy compared with anywhere else. Now China is the second biggest economy, but you can look at China and say over the last 50 years, China has achieved what the West could never achieve because they've had this viewpoint that the good of everybody is more important. I've been surprised just how fast things change. When I arrived in Beijing, I think there were about 5 subway lines, and there's now 18 or 19 subway lines. If you look at the high-speed railways, which were just starting off really when I came, there was a high-speed to Shanghai and Tianjin, and that was about it. The pace of change is phenomenal. You look at the way buildings go up almost overnight. You look at the way more and more roads are opening up, and the whole infrastructure is happening. China has come of age, and it's now showing the rest of the world what it can do, which the rest of the world can only dream about. Well, I think people see China and how it has changed dramatically over the last decade or 2 decades. And they see the railways which work, and they run on time to the minute. Chinese railways are superb. They're clean, they're efficient, and they work very well indeed. So they see that and they think, I mean, in the UK where I come from, British Rail is a disaster. It's been a disaster always, but it's been worse of a disaster for the last 20, 30 years. If they could have a railway like you have in China, it would change the economy overnight, because people would rely on it. Because I'm a journalist, I tend to go around and look for new things all the time. You never know when you're going to see a new story. And I was travelling on the subway one day, and I was at the very end of line 6, the station called Luchun, and there was a beautiful mural of, it was the map of the subway, but done in a beautiful mural. And I commented on this to somebody and said, well, it's amazing. And I thought, hang on a minute, everywhere you go, well, half the stations at least, more than half the stations in the Beijing subway have artwork. They may be murals or sculptures or calligraphy or whatever it is. And most people, they've got their head buried in their phones, they've never noticed anything. So I thought, well, let's take a few photographs and show some of my friends, because some of them are amazing. China leads the world. There's no question about it. China leads the world in fintech. The very fact that I can pay for a restaurant, I can pay for a flight, I can pay my utility bills. Everywhere in China takes it. And everybody uses WeChat. So nobody asks you for your phone number, they ask you for your WeChat, you know? And you can pay everything with that. And you don't have to go around with cash at all. Every shop you go into will accept it. And it's instant. You don't have to think about it. It is absolutely a world beater. There's no other country that has anything remotely like that. In the UK, we still use plastic. We think, isn't that advanced? No, it's not advanced. People from the UK who come here, they think, oh my gosh, if only we had that.